First of all, happy February. The 2022 is rolling by, and happy to have you guys here. I always appreciate you spending some time with us. I'm Brett, and I've talked and Alex as well about Cotton Heritage over the last few days. We're excited to do this. Dave is our rep with Cotton Heritage. We actually we were introduced to Cotton Heritage at a show in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we're actually by a rep that's not Dave. He was not our rep. But the guy connected us, and we walked in, and Brett and I have said, and Brett's now in North Carolina, so we don't get to do this kind of thing as much anymore. But Alex and I just went to a show recently. We've always said we go to these regional shows, and there's always probably one or two things that we walk away from the show just really happy that we went. Something that makes us better, something that gives us another arrow in the quiver, so to speak, to help our customers do the things they're trying to do with better products. And so I remember we ran into Cotton Heritage, and we were just really excited about it. And so we're excited to bring them to you. And I guess the context that I would give before I hand it over to Dave is, a lot of us are familiar with sort of the t-shirts of old that are the 100% cotton t-shirts, sort of the box of your dad's cotton t-shirt, if you will, things you used to get at events. And then there was a movement over all the way to the other side to sort of what I would call the fashion t-shirt. A lot of you might be familiar with Next Level or Bella or American Apparel, and a lot of tri-blends, a lot of softer hand t-shirts, but mixture of cotton, polyester, and rayon is what a tri-blend is. Most people were familiar with a 50-50, and then you went to the tri-blend. And the challenge with those was that they didn't fit real well. They were kind of sized for smaller people. And so then we've been a big proponent of a shirt from Sanmar that a lot of you are probably familiar with, that is a tri-blend that's more true to size. But then we encountered Cotton Heritage, and what's cool about them is that the pendulum is swinging back to doing cotton. And what we're finding, and Dave and we talked about this yesterday on the sort of dry run, that there's a stigma about cotton. I think a lot of people are resistant to it because of what they think it used to be. And the thing is, and Dave's going to talk about this, the technology has come a long way, and the t-shirts that are made out of 100% cotton are completely different than they were probably the last time you were primarily buying cotton shirts. And there's a lot of advantages to cotton. It's a natural fiber, so you don't get picking or things that sometimes happen with polyester and the rayon you get in the mix, in the blends. It receives a lot of different types of imprint methods that and we can talk a little bit more about that, but it's great for like direct to garment, full color printing, and other water-based and different screen printing applications and things like that. So, and then the final point I'll make is that what you're going to get as a result of being here today is we're going to send, I think, a set of a few, 2, 3, 3, 4, something like that, of their really top selling t-shirts, so that you can see for yourself. And you'll see them on here, and then we're going to send them out. So if you would, in the chat while we're doing this, if you could just post your size, what size you'd like to get your sample t-shirts in, that would be great. And we'll keep track of that. And then we'll follow up afterward to get where you would like those to be shipped to. So before I turn it to you, Dave, I'm just going to make, Brett, we had a lot of conversation. Did I miss anything, or is there anything you want to add to what I said before we let Dave go?
No, I think that's all good. Yeah, just make sure everyone who is in on this call, all the clients are in on this call, just be sure to just kind of throw your shirt size in. Either just if you don't feel comfortable just sharing that with everybody, just maybe just send it to me directly or what have you. But either way, just let us know what your shirt size is so that we can get you a sample of these shirts for you to try on, wear, and all that kind of stuff. But without further ado, I guess we'll just kind of let Dave take it from here.
Sounds good.
All right, very good. So I'm sure most of you have never heard of Cotton Heritage. They are certainly not new to the industry, and I'll make the history brief, but they've been around for about 40 years. But they've been out in LA, and they been doing their deal out there. And for those of you that aren't familiar with LA, it's California is really its own country. It's just massive. So they've been doing a great business, and they've reinvented themselves obviously over 40 years. But in the last 10, they really stepped up their game, and we manufacture, as Landon was saying, 100% cotton and CVC, which is a 60-40 fabric. And we do a really good job at what we do. Now, everything, I'm going to use a few terms over and over and over again, but everything we do is ring spun and combed. And just to tell you real quickly, so as Landon said earlier about t-shirts that you might have in your closet or t-shirt drawer, the t-shirts used to be made with what's called an open end and carded fabric, which is just nothing wrong with that. It's just old technology. And most of the shirts that you have are tubular construction and open end carded shirts. And that's just the way that, like I said, nothing wrong with it. It's just the way t-shirts were made, and it is what it is. Now, within the last, let's say 10 years, it's gone to combed and ring spun yarn, and also side seam construction. That kind of helps with torquing. If any of you all have ever had a t-shirt where the shirt seems to twist on you, that's one of the problems with tubular construction. A lot of sweatshirts were made with tubular construction as well. So everything we do, well, let me back up. Everything we do except for one style, and we're not even going to talk about that. Everything we do is side seamed, ring spun, and combed. And to tell you too, there's a lot of shirts out there that are ring spun, but they're not combed. And combing is just what you would think it is. The fiber of the cotton is combed out, and it takes out all the short staples, all the impurities, and what you get is a really soft yarn. And I wish that as I start showing you these shirts, I wish you could feel them, because that's really one of the most unfortunate things about Zoom is you can't touch and feel. But anyway, we'll talk about that. So
Dave, real quick, because I just want to clarify for everybody. So Brett put the link to their website in, and Brett and I were going back and forth on how best to handle this.
Yep.
I think I want to let Dave run with this and show shirts and talk what might be best. And if everybody could click the link that Brett shared, and really it's very simple. Dave, if you don't mind, as you're showing a shirt, give them the style number, and they can pop it into, there's an upper right box that says search. Once you click that link, you just simply pop in the number that Dave is talking about. You can pull it up and you can look. I don't know if you're in a 2-monitor setup, but you can at least kind of peek in on it while he's talking about it. And that might be the best way for us to go.
Yep. And I'm also happy to kind of share the links in the chat box as well as he's going through it.
Yeah,
so
do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So Dave, before you end up showing something, just say this is our whatever style number, and then I'll kind of look it up, and then you kind of share it in the chat box. But then anybody who's on the call, feel free to just peruse around the website. If you have any particular questions on colors, sizes, or anything, let us know. Don't be afraid to chime in.
Absolutely. Perfect. Okay. So the first style, and this is the biggest style in the company, is style MC 1040. So back up and see, it is a 4.3 ounce. The tag refers to this as lightweight. So it's a 4.3 ounce, and I'm going to use another brand just so you'll get the similarities. This is the same thing as a Bella 3001 or a Next Level 3600 or a Gildan Soft Style, if any of those are familiar to you. All the solid colors are 100% ring spun and comb cotton. All the heathers are 60 cotton, 40 polyester. And the reason for that is to get the heather coloring. As Landon was saying earlier too, about the 100% cotton, technology has just evolved, and all the cotton is compacted before anything happens, just to take some of the shrinkage out of it. Now, I'm not going to tell you that these will not shrink at all. They shrink, but very minimally. They don't shrink out of size. So you don't have to worry about that. There was something else I was going to tell you about cotton. The other thing we do with our fabric, everything we do, fleece included, is enzyme washed. So the fabric is woven, then goes through this enzyme washing. What that does, for lack of technical terms, it knocks the fuzz off the shirt, but it also takes out a lot of the residual dye. So when the shirts are printed, the printer doesn't have to worry about dye migration. They are color fast. They're good to go. So
now let me jump in, because I want to talk about, because you just said it's something that we all understand. I'll bet nobody else on here does. You said dye migration. So I'm just going to talk about what that is real quick. And I have a very dark history with dye migration. It's a little bit of an emotional allergy for me, but I'm going to push through and talk about it anyway. I had a shirt order for 1,000 t-shirts on a brand that I won't mention, but you already did. And because it was dyed black, in the shirt order itself had come from multiple locations around the world. What basically dye migration is where the white screen print in this case actually sucked in or took on some of the black dye and turned the imprint essentially a brown or a tan. And so that's what he means when he says dye migration. And so that's something that's sort of like, it's a little bit like insurance. Like, you don't know you need it, but when it happens, you need it. And so it's great to know that wouldn't be an issue with these.
I will say this too. There is a brand of DTG machinery, direct to garment, and it's the Cadillac of that particular type of equipment. It's called a Kornit. If you buy a Kornit DTG machine, the technicians, the people, when they come to set it up, will tell you need to use Cotton Heritage shirts. Zero problems. They print that well. I mean, the surface of these, and again, you'll see this when you get your samples, is absolutely flat. So they print beautifully, but they feel even better. I mean, it's a really shirt.
One thing I'd point out about that, and again, I think something I've learned, Dave, and you know a lot more about it, so please correct me if I say anything wrong, but the reason for like preferring 100% cotton or a primarily cotton for the DTG is that a natural fiber, it makes sense because polyester and rayon are essentially, they're plastic.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Right. And then cotton is a natural fiber. So whenever you're going to print something on the shirt, the natural fiber will absorb that print. Whereas for all intents and purposes on polyester, it just lays on top of the plastic, just like anything else would, because it doesn't absorb. And so,
absolutely.
Yeah. And the same thing is true, which we don't do a lot of, but when you get into things where you want to do like discharge printing and, where, or water-based, which we can go into more detail about that kind of stuff, but there are other print methods that then they will tell you have to have 100% or a primarily cotton garment in order to even do them. So yeah. Oh, and DTG, really quick, DTG, a machine like the Kornit that he's talking about, is, I think the best way for people to think about it, Dave, is like, it's as if you took an inkjet printer that sits on your desk and made it really big and gave it special inks to be able to print t-shirts. And they more or less print t-shirts in a similar way, but it allows you to do crazy numbers of colors. You can print photographs, whereas that stuff can be very cost prohibitive when you're doing traditional screen printing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the technology in the DTG is just, it's getting better every day. It's just amazing what they're doing. But these shirts will accept any kind of print method. I mean, you can discharge print the whole thing. So, okay, well, on to number 2. This is our style MC 1082. So the difference between this and the shirt I just showed you is basically one thing. This is a 5.5 ounce. The other was a 4.3. This shirt really is a great shirt for several things, but typically, a customer, let's say a customer my age, might not want to wear a 4.3 ounce t-shirt. Might need something just a little bulkier. This is a great shirt, really is. 5.5 ounce, same thing. Ring spun and combed, side seamed, just a heavier fabric.
And I want to point out something that Mary had pointed out as well, and it's the fact that you guys focus really heavily on providing some really unique colors in all of your options. I will say that Cotton Heritage, from what I have found, operates really well in like the retail space for a lot of like these little small mom and pop shops that have little retail shops that just want really cute designs and stuff like that. But outside of that, your color palette is really cool, and I feel like very fashion forward for what people are looking for nowadays. So not only do you get a really soft premium cotton t-shirt, but you get some really unique colors that you don't really find from your San Mars, your Alpha Brothers, and other things like that.
Well, then, and thank you. And that actually, I can attribute that to one person. There was I'll tell you a real quick story. There is a line called Alternative Apparel, and we were lucky enough to get the guy that really put Alternative Apparel where it is. Came to Cotton Heritage. He actually, funny story. He got out of college. He went to work for Hanes. Left Hanes, went to Alternative Apparel. Hanes buys Alternative Apparel. They don't need him anymore, and he gets canned, and so he comes to Cotton Heritage. So he's really good. I mean,
Canned is that's a technical HR term, right? Canned.
That is an HR term, yes. Okay, so 1082, same thing is what we talked about, but just a 5.5 ounce fabric. This is a shirt that's the epitome of t-shirts. If you want a good heavy t-shirt, this is it.
What's this style number? Hey, I'm sorry.
This is our style, MC 1086.
Now this one would be great for like folks in the construction industry or like tech guys who are crawling under behind computer desks fixing things, or whoever, right? This is like
absolutely
Carhartt style t-shirt, right?
Carhartt style t-shirt. And what's happened is it's also becoming a fashion item, especially on the West Coast. A lot of our styles come from the skater guys, and they wear heavy t-shirts. And on top of that, this shirt is also 1.5 inches longer than our other style. This is a 6.5 ounce fabric. This is the real deal. I love the shirt. It's a great t-shirt. It's probably too heavy to wear in the middle, of a July and August summer, but it's a great piece, and we are selling tons of it. The young folks are really gravitating now towards heavy t-shirts. But again, 6.5 ounce, really nice.
Yeah, that definitely is the trend. It's like, it's funny. The trend was screaming towards thinner, softer. And now it's heading back in the other direction, which is, it's kind of interesting to see that.
It is. It's crazy how that happens.
And I think it's really cool. The fact that you started out, the first shirt that you showed was like a 4 ounce t-shirt, which is like how heavy it feels in your hand. The next shirt was a 5 ounce. Then you've got this premium heavyweight t-shirt, which is a 6.5 ounce or whatever. Yeah, 6.5 ounces. And more or less, as they go up in weight, the price kind of goes up, but you're getting a heavier feeling t-shirt, which a lot of people, when they're buying t-shirts, you're just like, just give me a t-shirt with the freaking logo on. I don't care. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But what are you looking for in a t-shirt? Where are these going to be worn? All this kind of stuff. So it more or less just like takes the idea of a t-shirt and really goes in depth to levels that you've not really seen before.
Exactly right. We're going to talk long sleeve t-shirts. This is the 5.5 ounce. This is style. Let's go to it. Style MC 1182. So this is the counterpart to the MC 1082. It's a long sleeve. I will tell you some things that separate this from other long sleeve t-shirts. The biggest thing in my mind is this cuff. I have a lot of long sleeve t-shirts, and I love long sleeve t-shirts. I push the sleeve up. The sleeve drops back down. The sleeve's all gapped out, doesn't stay pushed up. We put Lycra in our cuffs. So you push the sleeve up. When you push the sleeve back down, it snaps back around your wrist. But
that's a great point. I have a lot of shirts like that, do the same thing, where the moment you push it up on your arm, the sleeve gets out of, exactly, it just gets stretched out. So
I won't mention any names, but the biggest producer in the world, they're and I like their shirts, but the cuffs are just, my gosh, they're hideous. But again, this is the same thing. It's, ring spun, combed, side seamed, but in a long sleeve tee. Comes in a lot of different colors. We have sold a ton of these. They are very popular. Again, one thing about Cotton Heritage, I will say, once you start wearing these shirts, they end up becoming your favorite t-shirt. It's the one that when you get up on Saturday and reach into your t-shirt drawer, you grab the Cotton Heritage shirt. So that's the long sleeve. All right. Let's talk about fleece.
Real quick, Dave, I don't want to get you off kilter, but
Yeah.
are you going to come back to the pigment dye, or you want
Yeah.
to save that for? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
come back.
that was what I was just about to say, Landon. Thanks for saying that.
I'm gonna come back to pigment dye. It's its own genre.
Hey, real
So-
quick, while Dave's grabbing the next thing too, there's 2 points and Brett made this. It's a great point. I think, we feel like Cotton Heritage is a great value. And part of the reason for that is that, when we buy things from some of these other places that we work with, there is another link in the chain. Essentially, they're buying from a Cotton Heritage and then selling to us. In this case, we're going straight to the manufacturer. So obviously that helps with cost. And then right now, believe it or not, I know supply chain, everybody's very aware of supply chain challenges, and Cotton Heritage is not immune to that. They have some challenges, but they do have product. And like I was just looking at this MC 1182, and there are some colors that are out of stock, but there's some that are in pretty good shape. So they've been a place that we've gone a lot in the last several months when we've needed fleece, which he's getting ready to show, and other supply chain, to meet other supply chain challenges.
Yeah, thanks. We did. I will say this for Cotton Heritage, we did a really good job this fall with fleece, but we really, it was kind of a gamble because COVID was raging and just a lot of uncertainty. But they stepped up and really forecast some serious production, and it paid off. And we had a great season. To be 100% truthful, our t-shirt inventory at this moment is not the best, but that's going to change probably the end of this month and in March. And they've done the same thing. I think once we get into season, you're going to see all the t-shirts you need to see. We're going to have them. So, but anyway, yeah, it has been challenging, just to say the least. So this particular sweatshirt, and again, I wish you all could feel this.
What was this? What was the style number on this one, Dave?
This is style 25 M2580.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've done several rounds of these for clients, and they've really enjoyed them. So I'm excited you're showing this.
And this is a new color that we don't have in stock yet. This is coming. This is called Latte. But let me tell you a little bit about this fleece. This is called and again, this fleece fabric has been enzyme washed. It is soft. It's incredibly soft. But it's called a 3N fleece. And what 3N means is that it actually just has an extra yarn in it, or extra fiber in it, that causes it to have a little bit of stretch. You know how when you put on a hoodie, especially, try to put it over your head, it seems to fight you. You put this on and it's easy to slip on. It's got some stretch to it. It also is extremely soft. This is an 8.5 ounce. Again, ring spun and combed. And it's not like any hoodie you've ever worn. It's really nice. The other thing we do, I don't know if you can see this, it's got a 3-piece hood. So when you put the hood on, it actually comes up over your head and you don't have a little point sticking up like a lot of hoodies have, where you look like, cone head. So it's just a very well thought out piece, dyed to match cords on all the colors. This is, believe it or not, this is the #1 selling SKU at Cotton Heritage. We sell more of this than any single thing in the entire line, even the t-shirt. More pieces of this.
I believe it. To Brett's point, I've sold that thing to a handful of people, and everybody who's gotten it has loved it. And it's funny how on an item like a hoodie that we just all kind of take for granted is something like, well, it's just a hoodie's a hoodie. Those little subtle details that you're talking about, I think, can really elevate the experience. And in this case, it doesn't really add a lot of cost into what they're used to paying.
No, that's the thing. It's such a value. And again, the cuffs. I'm bad about that, pushing my sleeves up. But this has got the Lycra in the cuffs, so when you push it up, when it comes back down, it snaps back around your wrist. So this comes in a lot of colors, up to size 4X. So the counterpart to that is style M2480. So this is a crew neck. Same thing. Everything's the same, except it just doesn't have a hood or a pouch pocket. This is a new color too, called Vintage Black, that will be out actually this spring. But again, all the same features in a crew neck. And I will tell you this, we are seeing an incredible move to crew necks. Incredible move. We were lucky enough that we stayed in stock fairly well, but there it is. So moving on, let's talk about this. This has been a real success story. This particular shirt, we did not have until, well, we actually launched it, well, let's see, last year. Yeah. This is a hoodie.
What's the style number on this one?
This is, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is style 2500, M2500. Now, this is a 7-ounce fabric. Let me get back a little bit. So the difference, obviously, is that this is lighter. This last hoodie I showed you, the 8.5 ounce, I would kind of best describe that as a hoodie that you put on, go outside. You can wear it outside when it's cold, really cold. If you're going to be in and out a bunch, this is a 7-ounce. This is really for our climate. This is a great piece. Same thing, 3-end, just a lighter weight hoodie. Comes in a lot of colors, not quite as many as the 2580. The hood is not lined. It's just fleeced, but a great piece at a great price point. To go with that, and we just, wait a minute, here we go. We just announced it, or just came out with it. The same fabric in a crew neck.
This is the lighter crew neck we talked about yesterday. That's one of the new items for this year, right?
Yes, and it is style M2460. This is a great shirt. Great
so this
shirt.
I see has a more limited color selection. Looks like currently there's 6 colors, which is probably
Right.
relatively common for a new item. They'll
Right.
add colors over time. And actually inventory on every color right now looks pretty good. So
we've got it all.
We're coming out of cold weather, and I know we're all looking forward to warmer weather. We're definitely moving into t-shirt season, but as a gap for the spring, this would be a great item to consider, and they're available, and the pricing is very reasonable.
Pricing is great, and it is a nice garment. And something I'll say about this fleece too, just from a personal standpoint, I've worn it all, washed it. It washes great, shrinks literally nothing. I mean, like no sweatshirt I've ever owned. We make great fleece. Lastly, to go with that particular weight, this is style M2475. Quarter zip. Most popular silhouette. for the last 7, 8 years. Again, nice lycra cuffs. It's a longer length where the band is actually sort of it's not a gathered band. It hangs down. So
So this is one
Really
of my
nice.
favorites in the line because I think it's a great item. Obviously quarter zips are hugely popular in our space. This is a way to get a quarter zip that's really nice for a very, very fair price.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
again, limited cut, there's 4 colors. It's basically black, navy, kind of an ash color, which you can see at the link. And stock is really good on this item too.
Yep. All right. Let's talk my favorite t-shirt in the world. I've worn a lot of t-shirts. I've worn everybody's t-shirt. This, I'm not kidding you. I've got one on. This is my favorite t-shirt. So I'm just going to use the other brand name. This is our version of a comfort color. And let me tell you what's different between us and a comfort color. So we're ring spun and combed. They're ring spun, no combing. We are side seamed. They're tubed. Ours is
What was the style number on this one real quick, Dave? Sorry.
Oh, this is style OU 1690.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine as well. I got some from my wife's company and love them. I mean, fantastic. One of her personal favorites as well.
They did everything to this shirt that is right. Now, I'll give you a little bit of technical jargon that might not mean a lot to some people. The way this shirt is made is that it is dyed reactively, which is the way you dye like just a normal t-shirt. It's dyed by the garment is dyed. The fabric's not dyed before it's sewn. It's sewn into a garment with just PDF or PFD fabric, and then the garment is dyed. Then it's dyed again with a pigment topper, so that gives it the look like it's a washed out shirt, and it will continue to fade some as it's washed, just to give you that look. What that means is that your color is permanent, and for screen printers, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that if they make a mistake, there's a particular type of a gun that they can use that blows out the mistake, and then they can fix it. With a typical garment dyed shirt, you can't do that, because when they hit it with that gun, it turns the shirt white. It takes all the dye out. This they can correct. So it's a permanently dyed shirt, but you're still getting the same features as a garment dyed shirt. If that makes sense to you. We're doing a lot of colors that are very similar to the comfort color colors. This shirt does not shrink at all, not at all, because it's been garment washed. I mean, that's it. It's done. Double seamed. It's one of the nicest t-shirts. Everything about it.
And you know what? You guys have inventory on this too. The inventory looks pretty good on this item.
We did.
We
absolutely
very
do.
few exceptions. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, absolutely love the colors. Like comfort. I mean, it's kind of got like, I mean, it's cotton heritage. It's got like just this old world, very cool, warm feeling, just soft, great colors. I love them.
And same thing, style OU 1964, same thing, long sleeve. This shirt is awesome. We are adding a few colors for 22 in both the shirts, and then I've got a little surprise. You all might not be aware of this, but the same exact thing in a long sleeve. And then these have not hit yet, but it's coming. Probably at the end of the month. Pocket.
Oh, nice. There's the surprise. I did not know that.
It's coming. We're going to have it probably, like I said, probably the end of the month. Several new colors. Again, everything's the same just we do have a pocket. Pocket is in this particular garment. I did not realize this. This particular garment in a ring spun or in a garment wash, pockets are 40% of the business. So anyway, we will have those. They're coming.
I was going to just comment that long sleeve version we actually have in a retail gift shop program, and she's reordered it now. I think 3 or 4 times. It's been very, very popular. We do it in the white.
Oh yeah,
it's been a huge hit. Yeah,
I'll tell you a story about this. There was a customer up in Maine, of all places. It wasn't my customer. Bought a gigantic order of these things. You know, last summer you could not get comfort colors. You just couldn't get them. And so they had to have the shirts. So they bought a big order from us. They will not be buying comfort colors anymore. They like this shirt so much better that they're switching. I mean, it's that nice. And I actually have had some smaller customers of mine do the same thing. Couldn't get the comfort colors, bought this. They're going with this.
Hey, I want to jump in here real quick, Dave. I think I know everybody's up against it. Normally we go about 40, 45 minutes. I'm okay to continue. I just want to make sure everybody knows that I'm aware of the time, and we'll keep going, but we understand if you need to drop off. And I think we're probably getting close to the finish line, but just wanted to give everybody that update.
Well, I'm done, except for one thing that I actually left off the list, and I guess I wasn't thinking, but I'm going to show you one more thing because it's awesome. French terry.
That's my favorite right there. That's my favorite.
Yeah, don't you have one on?
No, not here, but I have 2.
Okay. This is, to describe this fabric to you, it basically is like, it's our sweatshirt fabric. But the inside of it, you can see, maybe, has not been fleeced. So it's a 7-ounce jersey fabric that has no fleecing. I can't tell you, again, I know I sound like a broken record. I cannot tell you how soft this is. But we offer this garment in a unisex crew. We've got a pullover hood. We've got a zipper hood. And we have a ladies hood. It's a wonderful fabric. It's a great retail piece. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention. It's an awesome weight, especially again for our part of the world. This is what
I would jump in and say about this piece is that I would characterize this as kind of like a vintage piece. This is what I love about this thing. It feels like a sweatshirt that, was done 20 years ago. And it's got that texture on the inside. It's got an old school feel. And again, I mean, you cannot beat, I feel like, the value of this item that you get. And you can embroider it, you can screen print it, you can do whatever. But like I said, this is hands down my favorite item in their whole line, really.
Yeah, this particular crew neck, I own one in every color we make, and it is it's wonderful. It's a great piece, and again, I'll stress this too. They launder. It's amazing. They do great. All right. With that, we'll call it a day.
That's awesome. I know, Dave, I mean, I really appreciate you doing this. I know that Dave and I were communicating early in the week, and he had some webcam challenges. So he shifted to using the iPad, but man, he hung in there and figured out a way to do it for us. And I'm glad he did, because as I said, I mean, genuinely, we really were excited we've talked about Cotton Heritage, I think, to probably a lot of you, but doing these kind of things so that you get a much broader view of the line, understanding of the company, and get to see a lot more products, I think is just so helpful. And that's just the feedback that we get from you guys. That's certainly not my opinion. But we just love the fact that we're able to show this to you kind of as we head into t-shirt season, and then also some of these lighter options. And we're really looking forward to getting some samples in your hand, because I think now, once you've seen it, now that you get the chance to touch it and feel it, it'll be a game changer.
Yeah, I'm excited to get these samples out to all of you, and I want you to take them, wear them, wash them. I promise you'll be impressed.
Brett, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think that's it. I've gotten everyone's sizes except for Brooke. Brooke, if you can just kind of direct message me real quick, let me know what your size is, and then we'll get that out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be sending basically the comfort colors version, whatever that garment
Yeah,
dyed.
absolutely.
That was going to be the one, and then the other best-selling shirt, which was like the 4 ounce, the one that you talked about in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be sending one of each of those in your size to either your home or your office or whatever address you let us know. But no, I think that pretty much covers it.
Mary Carroll just asked a question really quick about the thickness of, you can read it there. It says, would you say the thickness and heaviness of the 1086 is comparable to the 1182?
How do they compare?
Yeah, the 1086 versus the 1182. I guess
The 1086 is a real beast. I mean, it's a chunk. It's quite a bit heavier. I mean, just technically it's an ounce and a half heavier, but you can really feel it. I wish I could figure out some way to compare it. I don't know if you're familiar with there's a particular shirt that has been big since the 70s. It was called a Hanes Beefy Tee. Used to be the standard in the industry. Well, that's a 6-ounce T-shirt, and it's called a Beefy Tee. This thing is 6.5 ounce.
Yeah.
So it's a heavy T-shirt.
Yeah, I would almost say that, I guess the way that I might describe it, and Dave, you can tell me if you agree with this, is like, I have seen like the Carhartt T-shirts and different workwear T-shirts that you'll see out there that are very, very thick, and it seems like the T-shirt would be comparable to that, whereas the 1182 long sleeve would probably be, what I would call a relatively standard long sleeve T-shirt.
Yeah, the 1182. I mean, just from a personal standpoint of view, the 1082 and 1182, which are both 5.5 ounce, as well as this garment dyed, to me, from a personal standpoint, it's the perfect weight. It's perfect. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. I think it's an absolute ideal weight for a shirt. Yes, the young folks prefer the 4.3 ounce. I mean, that it just is what it is. But that 5.5 ounce is kind of the sweet spot.
I think what we could do too is potentially, and Mary Carroll, you can either kind of just unmute and tell us what you think or whatever. But if you're interested in those two styles, we could probably tailor your sample set to just so that you could see for yourself and throw in a T-shirt too. And we'll generally take the lead and not make everybody pick all the styles they want. But you let me know if that's something you would prefer.
Yeah, but I think that with that particular shirt as well, he said kind of like that skater feel kind of thing, with it being like an extra 1.5 inches longer. It's kind of got like that very retail-esque. It's a little bit longer to kind of fit that sort of lifestyle look feel, if you will. But the weight of it is still, absolutely fantastic, and could be a great piece for whatever you need it for.
Yeah. Okay. I think that gets us where we need to be. And I don't want to, as always, I don't want to take any extra time because I know that none of us have a lot of extra to give. So, Dave, just thank you again for being here.
Thank you all.
Appreciate your partnership. I mean, that's what this partner series is all about for us. Is we talk about the fact that at our core, Goodson, we are curators of products, partners, and people. And we obviously brought you on because we've really enjoyed working with you. You're so responsive, and we love the product, and Cotton Heritage is just a great partner of ours. Everybody who's joined, thank you for your time. We hope you have, a great rest of your day. And I think obviously you know where to find us. If you have any other questions or you want any other samples, Dave has been very helpful in that regard. And we'll be following up if we need any additional information to get sample kits out to you. And other than that, we'll look forward to seeing you next month. Next month is a company called Compass Promos. And I haven't done this before, really previewing the next month, but I want everybody who's still on Compass Promos. And I think that's the website, right, Brett? Just compasspromos.com.
Yes.
Love this place. It's more of a tool. I would call it like a tool, and kind of knives and lights and different things, very kind of industrial, if you will. Lots of brands you would recognize. So please, you can check them out. They're going to be our partner for next month. We're excited about that, and more information to follow. So with that, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you all. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.